All right, hey guys, what's going on? It's Alex from Fitment Industries, and I am standing behind a table, which that means we're opening boxes today. It's a very exciting time. I'm Alex, I already said that, and I have a knife, and we're going to be actually unboxing some Flowform wheels, and not just any Flowform wheels. Oh no, we're too good for that these days. We thought to ourselves, what wheel brand haven't we done yet? And this wheel brand is called not Flowform, got you. It's actually HRE, and they gave me a knife this time, which is very, very exciting, and it's gonna be enjoyable. And we're gonna go through, we're gonna check out these wheels, we're gonna see what you think about them, what I think about them. I have not seen these wheels yet. HRE, we just got on the site, which means they get to send us wheel samples and we get to talk about them, which is very exciting. We're gonna try and do a wheel history on them, but we're waiting for them to respond back. We only sent them like 1 million messages and 10,000 questions and requests for videos, photos, and any sort of thing. We asked for their youngest child and a couple other things. So first off, we have 3 wheel samples. Second off, we're gonna go into the first one here, which is actually packaged extremely nicely. It's a very uncommon thing, it seems like, especially with wheel samples. So I know it's like a weird thing to brag about, but actually it's quite nice because every single box we seem to open these days is like tattered and destroyed. So let's go with the first one, which is right here. Watch the knife. Surprised you guys trusted me with a knife. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. Wait, what's it look like? Hold on. Oof, it's not even straight. So this is HRE's Flowform lineup, which means it's their rotary forged wheel. I'm gonna take a look down here and see what we got going on. A 20x9 plus 25 offset here for us. And this is looking like it's the FF04. So obviously the FF stands for Flowform. You have a nice, very simple designed wheel. So let me just take a look at it really quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 10 spoke, it's a double 5 spoke. It's a 1-piece wheel. Just going off the basic thing that I really enjoy about it out of the gate is the fact that it's actually a really nice finish. It's something that's a little bit different, that's not too common anymore, but it's a pretty simple design once you start looking at it a little bit more. The double 5 spoke has like this indentation around the lip itself of the wheel, so it gives it depth on the spoke of it, which makes it kind of give it a little bit more of, not necessarily a 2-piece look, I would say, but definitely has a little bit more attention to aesthetic. They could have just let this be and let it be a flat, but then you would have lost a lot of the design within each of the spokes. I like how it has some curves to it. Not everything is super sharp and edgy. Not everything has to be, okay? We don't all have to be edgy 16-year-olds anymore. We can also choose to have something a little bit smoother, and this is one of those designs. It has nice pocketing for the lug nuts or lug bolts, what have you. I really enjoy that. Love the color. And of course, I love the center cap. It's not titanium or aluminum or anything like that. It is plastic, so that is a little funky, but you know, I'm not gonna bag on them too much for that. I do like it though. Definitely something a little bit more minimalistic than I would say what we're normally used to, especially when it comes down to designs, but HRE's always kind of been about that, which we know. They've definitely been more about making sure that the wheel works with the platform that they're building the wheel for, not necessarily to be the most aggressive or the most stylish for every application. So they built these wheels with certain fitments and things in mind. A lot of it is gonna be your newer stuff, your M3s, your M2s, probably AMG, Mercedes, Audi, stuff like that. You'll probably also see this on other applications as well. And I'm sure that they have other applications that they haven't talked about yet. So the Hyper Black here is definitely more of like a gunmetal silver, but if we're gonna call it Hyper Black, they're gonna call it Hyper Black, so we'll call it Hyper Black. Moving on to the second wheel, I have a knife again, and we are gonna take a look at the FF01. This is the mesh style. It's a 20x9, it's a 5x120, and it's a plus 25 offset. If you open the box, it says things are about to get awesome, which is actually kind of interesting for the HRE brand, and here is why. You guys may be wondering like, okay, that's not a big deal. It actually kind of is. HRE's always been known as like a very high-end brand. They're a very high-quality brand. They focus on a very specific market. You've seen them do some pretty crazy things, especially with like titanium 3D printed stuff that they've done in the past. And they're always trying to do something unique. It kind of keeps them in the spotlight. But I've never really seen the brand say things like awesome before and things like that. So I think it's trying to get into another market a little bit, not just the I don't know, suit an old style people, maybe trying to get into a little bit of the younger brand, trying to get into a different market as well. And the Flowform obviously does that. Now, their Flowform line is definitely still on the upper price point of everything, but that's just how they do it. And it's the HRE brand, so what do you expect? I don't know what this is.
That was for
Steve lied to me. There was a box in here and I got really excited. So let's take a look at the mesh wheel. I really do like the red cap on that. That's really nice. Red cover on that. That's really nice. And here we go. So taking a look at HRE, we're going back to the basics with the designs. I do like the design. It's very simple. It's very HRE. You've got the spokes going all the way out to the end of the lip. You've got the embossed HRE here, which is really nice. Another thing that I do enjoy is that they did go a little bit further. They ended up doing the back pocketing to save weight. They kept it very simple. Lots of big brake kit clearance that you're gonna have with a wheel like this, especially with the mesh, which is very nice. Taking a look at this one compared to the first one that we unboxed, they both have, you know, big brake clearance, which is nice, but this one definitely has a little bit more, just judging from the size and the offset that we're looking at. And I think we're looking at dang near the same exact size of 20 by 9 plus 25. So 20 by 9 plus 25, so same exact thing, but definitely more pocketing here. One of the things that is interesting is it's definitely got a little bit more, I would almost want to say, face. Here's what I mean by that, and it's gonna sound a little odd. With HRE, if you look at the designs and you definitely look at the center of the wheel, you're gonna see it's actually quite large. And that's because they definitely bleed the design into the center before they bleed it up into the spokes here. A lot of new designs right now are very thin, meaning that when you get to the center, the moment that you get out of the lug area, it immediately turns into spoke. And they try to have the spoke go right from the bolt or the lug straight out. And there's none of this space here. They try to minimize that space as much as possible. With HRE's designs, I'm actually seeing that they kind of stray away from that and they do something that has less focus on the overall spoke and has more focus on the overall design. Now, whether that means anything to you, I guess is entirely up to you, but what that means, I guess, in terms of design and what you guys would expect if you were to throw this on your car, it means that the wheel's not going to look as big as a similar size wheel on the same exact car, because where it's mounting up is actually taking up a bigger chunk of space with the spoke and with how thick the spoke is compared to, you know, hypothetically a thinner spoke rotary forged or Flowform wheel. So something that is a little different, something that I noticed on both of these, so it'd be interesting to see if the third one has it too. Definitely a fan of the black. I do like the mesh, but I think this design for me just does it a little bit more. Still not super busy or aggressive, but just enough to be able to see that it is, in fact, an aftermarket wheel. And it's HRE, so HRE has always been known to have very clean styles that match with the vehicles that they provide applications for. So we did get HRE on the site, which is very exciting. No, we're not gonna put their titanium 3D wheels on the website, sorry. And so far it's been pretty good. It's a little bit of a different touch though. These wheels are not always for everyone. They are for that specific market that we talked about in the past, but if you're in the market for this kind of wheel, we've never heard anything bad about HRE, especially when it comes to application, when it comes to fitment range, when it comes to, you know, clearances and things like that. Sorry. And we have the final and third wheel, which we are looking at. We're looking at the final wheel, which is an FF15. And this one's definitely my favorite, hands down, no questions asked. Let me show this for you guys here. So there is that one, same size. This is called liquid silver, hyper bronze, and I'm assuming just gloss black. This is my favorite color out of all of them, 100%. Just seeing the multi-spoke-ish design, it's got the back pad that looks like it's hollowed out for sections to save weight. Rotary forged, just so you guys know, I feel like I forgot to tell you because we brought it up so many times, but with a Flowform or rotary forged wheel, what happens is that it's still made with an aluminum alloy, which means that the face is still cast. And then what they do is they take rollers on the barrel of the wheel, right? Because there's still a big chunk of metal here. They take the rollers at a super high rate of speed at a very high temperature and they roll the metal out. And what happens when they roll the metal out on the underside and on the inside, they thin the metal out, they align the grain structure in the wheel. It makes it stronger, but it also makes it lighter because it's less actual metal that's in the barrel as a typical cast wheel. So instead of it just being poured into a mold or low pressure casted, it's actually going to be rolled into shape, and that actually helps a ton with integrity. It helps a ton with saving costs as well, because to get something like a forged application barrel, you'd have to go to a multi-piece wheel. And when you're looking at a multi-piece HRE or a multi-piece any wheel, you're looking at paying, you know, anywhere from 4 to 6, upwards to 10 to 15,000, depending on which brand you get and what sort of options that you have. So rotary forge is a great way to meet in the middle, especially with your GTRs, your 370Zs, with any sort of mid-level, your M3s, your AMGs, your 335s, all of those platforms benefit greatly from rotary forge wheels, because once you get into bigger diameter wheels as well, then you're playing the game of how heavy your wheels actually are, and rotary forge saves that. So this one's my favorite though out of the three, the FF15. If I were to take a guess, I'm gonna guess anyway, is it because there's 15 spokes? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, got them. 15 spokes. You got your big brake clearance, which I love. I love the fact that it is a little bit busier, which makes it very nice. And then you've also got yourself some nice action from the lip to the actual spoke of the wheel as well. So just the little extra details. It takes more time on the milling, which means it costs them more money. It's definitely something that I would like to see on pretty much any application. I think this would look good on just about anything. If I were to guess though, I would say this is more of a new gen Euro wheel. This is gonna be something that you're gonna see more than likely on your wider body style wheels, just because the concavity plays a huge part in these mesh style wheels. Let's see, I don't want this to fall. Please don't fall. Don't. That'd be terrible. And I could see this wheel stay. I could see this wheel probably more on BMWs and things like that. I think the reason that I see this more on BMWs is because BMWs have a more aggressive front end, but then it gets a little bit loosey-goosey in terms of the angles and stuff on the sides that I think this would really pull it together with. This is very sharp, meaning it has to go with a more aggressive body. I could even see this maybe on an AMG. And then this I could probably see on just about anything because it is a mesh wheel, but the concavity would play a big part on it. So let us know which one your favorite is. Obviously in the comment section below, if you're looking for HREs, obviously we got them, fitmentindustries.com. You can look at wheels, tires, suspension, all of that good stuff. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will see you later. I'm gonna walk away and pray that these don't fall. Magician. Peace.